Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boys back again, once again, with another episode of Power Rangers Academia. Yes, we're here now, back again. Missing Tech once again, but you know, it is what it is, all right? Sometimes work just bodies you, and it bodies you hard, okay? Just like a lot of these Power Ranger villains do. So we got lots to talk about, so I hope you guys are ready for yet another series of these videos coming your way, guys. So really quick, Isaac, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing just fine and dandy because, as expected, there's no Tech again. And I keep trying to tell y'all, listen, I know I'm not the leader or the boss of this or whatever, but guys, I'm taking applications for a Tech replacement. You're probably not gonna get the job, but still, I am taking applications.
At least you're honest, like letting people know, like you're probably not gonna get it, but feel free to apply, right? JD, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You know, it's been an interesting week. You know, like, you know, we've been kind of following the wave of information and stuff that came out from that huge week. That was the week that, you know, Once and Always dropped and stuff. So yeah, you know, still some cool stuff happening. You know.
Oh yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening, and a lot of interesting things to talk about. And I guess really quick, I want to acknowledge that I think, you know, because of all of the hype around Once and Always that we are coming out of right now, that definitely gave the channel a nice surge in you know, subscribers. So we're like, you know, the funny thing is we were trying to plan a 500 subscriber celebration and doing a live stream, possibly doing like a tier list of some sorts, because that hasn't happened here in a long time. At one point it seemed like that's all we did, because that was Isaac had too much influence. Let me just put it to you that way. He was like, nope, we gotta do tier list this, tier list that, and that's how it went.
I was just gonna say, you think we got the surge because of Once a Ranger or Once and Always, whatever? No, we got the surge because of me. People tune in to Power Rangers Academia because of me. Plain and simple. So you're welcome, guys. And thank you, everybody, tuning in. I'm not letting you guys down. I am here.
I appreciate this heel persona for Power Rangers Academia. We gotta have this mix.
If anybody here heel here is Uchi, because he don't believe me.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Tech. My bad.
Oh no, Tech. Listen. This dude's in Gorilla, you know. This guy is behind the scenes. Ooh, he brings up good, you know, guys. For anybody that doesn't know, we're obviously part of a group chat, guys. Let's be real. We're obviously part of a fucking group chat, and the Tech obviously is there. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes he brings us some good points and some good topics for us to talk about. So he's kind of like, at this point, he's behind the scenes. Just like at his job, he's behind the scenes. Right now, he's behind the scenes. So he's doing a great job. Keep up the good work, Tech.
Yeah. So shout outs. We miss you. We love you. Wish you were here.
Well, next time we'll see it. Just how we had the Power Rangers anniversary special, we're gonna have the Power Rangers Academia reunion special, and Tech will be there.
So speaking of anniversary specials and all this kind of, you know, relatable stuff with, you know, going on, like I said, came off Once and Always has done pretty well. So full transparency, we were gonna continue talking about it, but we gotta wait for Tech. So we're gonna I just looking at Isaac, I hear the or.
That's exactly what's playing in my head.
Yeah. So all right, so yeah, so we're gonna talk more about Once and Always once Tech's back, but until then, like I said, there's plenty more to talk about. So again, speaking on reunions and specials, there is a what if situation. Now, it's not a what if situation canonically. It's a what if situation brought to you in part by an actor, or should I say an actress. And I'm sure you guys saw this. You guys know what I'm talking about. Our girl Ashley.
Top 5.
Yeah, right?
The second best space girl.
She literally posted on, like, I think it was Twitter or Instagram. I think it was Twitter. That's where I saw it, at least. Where she said that she wants to see an in-space reunion. Now, that in and of itself, that's a great idea. I mean, naturally speaking, right? Because, like, we already had a video. If you missed out, go ahead and check it out. We talked about the anniversary of Power Rangers in Space, saying, you know, like, it's been around for all these years, and it's still the best show.
Yes.
You know
that I agree with. Yes.
It is, you know, like when we did a Red Ranger tier list, Andros was the best Red Ranger. Okay, so like there's a lot of bests that come out of space, right? Mm-hmm. So naturally, this is my question to y'all. Isaac, you start. Do you agree with space being that next season to get some sort of reunion special? And if not, or if you wanted to see any others, go ahead and, you know, give us your piece.
So my answer to that question is no. And you know I love space. You know, space is my favorite season. Mm-hmm. I think that to me was like the only perfect season. Well, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but it was definitely the best season. And the reason I say no is because, especially if you follow the actors and actresses, in that, and like every convention they do a reunion. I already seen them all together too many times outside the show. But even then, they do a good job at, you know, like representing their characters.
Right.
So when I do see, like, when I do watch panels and stuff of all of them up there, except for Cassie because she doesn't do conventions, it's like, okay, they're basically the same thing. Like I don't even watch the whole thing. Like I keep up with everybody on social media, but I don't care to listen on the panels or to watch them because it's people ask the same questions, they talk about the same things, and Cassie's always missing. So to replace her with Psycho Red, it is the same thing no matter what. And I'm not, and JD, I'm not just judging by that. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. He's always,
I know exactly.
Yeah, he's always there. And to me, like, if we didn't see him together often, I would be okay with that. Now, I know you're probably thinking of the way Once and Always was handled, like, you know, a special episode, which would be okay, but I wouldn't necessarily really care for it. I think the way Space ended, I don't think there is a way to even bring something like that back. Also, I know Andros, the Andros character, was already doing his own thing separately that takes place after what happened in space. So it's very hard for me to see that happen. To the second part of your question is like, what would you like to see? You know, what next reunion you want to see next? I really do think, and this is gonna be a hot take for some and something completely out of left field, the 2017 movie cast. I want to see them come back, and somehow I feel like, you know, they didn't get the credit they deserve, and their times as Rangers was very short-lived. I think if you're able to bring anybody back as a reunion, I think it'll be them. I think they have out of all the seasons, I feel like they still have the untold story. The what ifs. We still have so much to learn about them, and it's nice to see a follow-up on that.
You know, I will definitely. It's not every day when we line up, but I give you that 2017 cast. I'm one of those defenders as well, where I loved that movie for what it was, and every time I saw it, I feel like I enjoyed it and appreciated it more. And a lot of fans, unfortunately, they don't like it. You know, they don't like it because, I mean, look, I love the movie for what it was. Doesn't mean I like the suits either, okay? Like, I thought they were ass ugly, but I saw beyond that. Like, it was the whole experience and what they were trying to establish, and, you know, what they were trying to build. And the fact that the original plan was supposed to be like 6 films and we only got 1? And they teased Tommy at the end?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, right? We know who Tommy is. We could have had another Tommy.
Facts.
One that can't, you know, that could have literally replaced the Tommy we all know and love. We would have had 2.
Facts.
Like that right there, and that Tommy could have continued the legacy
Facts.
of the original.
Man, I wanted to see that so bad.
That's what I'm saying. So have a reunion or do some type of special or something. Introduce Tommy in that. Just like Trini's daughter was introduced in Once and Always, and continue the story somehow. I'm not saying do a whole season or a whole new movie. Another 45 minutes with some questions being answered, we would be okay. 2017 was how many years ago? It's enough time passed by. Yeah,
That's
it's
a long
enough time.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
enough time
crazy,
passed by.
yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's enough time that passed by. Even like 4 years from now, when it's 10 years,
Yeah.
come on, we have to see it. And the actors are still young. They're still healthy. They're huge stars.
Right.
All of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, more so some of the others. I know Becky G. You know, she's out here. She did the national anthem at WrestleMania.
That's Becky G.
Yep.
Like
You know,
that's
Naomi
Becky
Scott
G.
is still. She was Princess Jasmine in the movie. Red Ranger was in Stranger Things.
Joe, he was Billy. His name was Billy.
Yeah, and the Black Ranger was in Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Right,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Oh yeah, he was
Exactly.
Liu Kang.
Liu
He was
Kang.
Exactly. So
RJ Kyler. He was
it could
in
work
a
out.
bunch of
It
stuff.
could work out, and I can't. I mean, there's other seasons that I feel like Time Force, for example. Again, I feel like we see them all the time too. So it's, I'll be okay. I'll be okay with a Time Force reunion. Lightspeed Rescue reunion. I know both of you guys love Lightspeed Rescue. I just thought it was okay. I don't care for reunion so much, but if there's any one reunion I'll be okay with right now and I'll be excited for is a 2017 movie reunion.
All right, that's a great answer. So JD, so really quick, just to I guess remind the question, do you like the idea of there potentially? I mean, this is a speculation, not even speculation. This is just off of Ashley's tweet, right? Like,
Right.
do you think a space reunion would be something that a lot of fans would get excited behind? If not, if so, like, all your thoughts on that?
So on one hand, right, like I understand what Isaac's saying in terms of like there's not a lot of closure that you need to have within space, right? Because I feel like Mighty Morphin, there's a lot of questions, because you
Absolutely.
had cast members leaving, you had changing of the guard to the point where a lot of character stories just were left with big question marks. But at the end of In Space, it was relatively definitive, and then you got even more closure when you got into Lost Galaxy, and now we've had the comics and stuff kind of expand on some of those things, and you've had certain characters like return. But I think that I still would be interested in seeing it, just because, like, when you look at the Sentai, right? We talked about this before. Like the Sentais, they like to do their reunion specials for different seasons.
Yes, they do.
It doesn't matter if they have a story to tell, they'll make something, And I feel like, generally speaking, like Space still had like a lot of ammo, right? You had, you got into a lot of different planetary stories. You were dealing with like a lot of different evil factions and like a lot of different things that we still don't have a bunch of extra canonical like context to, like the fate of KO-35 or just like what does it mean to be a Space Ranger after your tenure, because they're still active. I think In Space was the first team to remain active after their season ended.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get what you
because
mean.
that was the first time where they had a team switch, but also it's like that they're still active and out there because they were ready when Lost Galaxy happened, and clearly they didn't give up the powers. Their powers never got destroyed.
And
So
Legendary
they were
Battle
always
as
on
well.
call. Right,
There
Legendary
you
Battle.
go.
There was 2 Space
So-
Rangers in that.
And
Or
granted, it's
more,
like
but-
I wouldn't want it to be another like Psycho story, because I feel like the Psychos have been done to
I
Not green.
100%
Not green.
feel that.
Not green.
Well, not he's
Yeah,
right, but
I mean, yeah, Psycho Green, but that's
My
still
boy.
a can of worms. Like I feel like personally, like if I was gonna do it, like I would make the story about Darkonda and KO-35,
okay.
and I would bring those characters back around something that has to do with that. But it would I don't think it would be as emotionally resonant to the grander like fandom, because it would just be like a one-off story of, hey, like here's an adventure that involves these characters in their adulthood, and maybe like addresses some of like where are these characters now. But I don't think you're really going to be having any like interesting payoffs or anything that's going to add to the canon in an interesting way. So I'm kind of like, I still want to see it. Like as an In Space fan, I would still watch it. Like if you told me tomorrow, like, hey, they're doing a in space reunion next year, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
But do I think it's gonna be the same type of like weight that made Once and Always crossover? No. So yeah, just to answer that question about In Space,
yeah,
I would want to watch it. I don't know if they should do it or if they could, but I would definitely watch it if they did make one.
Okay.
Because I do feel like every team deserves a little bit extra, especially like if these people have been going around and they still their characters are missed. Like whether we see their actors talk about their characters a lot, the characters are still missed.
Right.
Like it'd still be fun to see those dynamics and how they've changed and how they've evolved and who has kids and whatever. Like it'd be funny.
So if you had to pick one season, just like how Isaac said, like he picked the 2017 cast to just return, who would you go with?
My first thought honestly was Time Force, but I feel like that's a giveaway. And also like between Hyperforce and the graphic novel, we've got a lot of Time Force too.
Right.
I mean, I think after that is like SPD.
Yeah,
but SPD,
that's a good one.
SPD is like a supernatural one, and it also has like precedence, because I think wasn't the Deca Ranger reunion like a big deal when they did that in the Sentai. So it's like I would imagine an SPD reunion being a big thing, and you could bring Brandon J. McLaren back because he's still acting and he's out there, so that would be cool.
Yeah.
So I would say between like SPD, I would kind of like to see and I know you said it, but it's like Lightspeed Rescue. I would like to see. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna reverse that. I'm gonna reverse that answer. I'm gonna bring it back. I have a much better answer.
All right.
Dino Thunder.
Ooh, I was thinking that one. There you go.
Because I think Dino Thunder might actually be the best answer.
So this is the thing though, and this thing that I'm thinking with Dino Thunder, are we really gonna have another scenario where Tommy gets absorbed or kidnapped or whatever?
I think. Damn, you're right. Because you can't kill him off. It's not like Trini, because like with Trini they killed off Trini, like they killed the character off, but you can't like canonically he's still alive because
Soul
of the Dragon has to happen.
But unless they do it with like the original 3 and even leave out Trent,
that's what I'm saying. It's like
it can work.
Like you could focus on the original 3 and Trent, but to do it without JDF would be difficult. But like because like if it was far enough in the future to where you could say like, hey, this is after Soul of the Dragon, something happens to Tommy,
right,
then you could probably do it that way. I don't know if it's like if they're old enough for that to take place, but I feel like that would be that would be the only other one where you could be like, hey, here's these people who were influenced by the greatest Ranger of all time. Like here's the team that was brought up by the greatest Ranger of all time, and here's them as adults and how they keep going. And then it would also be interesting to see that team actually get some due, since they weren't represented at all in the Dino team up by their actual actors, at least. But I know the Blue Ranger, he'd still be down. Like Red, I don't know what he's doing. And Yellow, I think she kind of turned on the fandom a little bit last time I heard.
Preferably, pick a season where all the cast can actually pull up.
Space.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't have the same problem that from Once and Always.
Yeah, like that's the funny thing is like with Space, the only person you have to worry about is Patricia, and I feel like she would show up to shoot, but not to like everything else. Like to conventions or whatever. Like I feel like you have a high, because she came back for Legendary.
Yeah, she came back for that. So I mean,
she'll do the acting.
She probably will. But it's still, I mean, outside of,
I guess we could do Lightspeed Rescue.
You know, of course you would say that.
They'd pull up.
I feel like that just season nobody.
All 5 of them are around. 6 of them.
So another thing that I was thinking was, maybe a reunion special that can save the season, such as an Operation Overdrive or a Megaforce. Listen, we know the seasons are not great, but a reunion special can possibly make it better. I'm just saying, if done correctly.
I'm surprised you're saying that. I feel like if Tech were to say this, you would blow him up right now.
I would not, because it would make it, I'm saying one reunion special that's just catching people off guard, and I'm not gonna say saves the season, but put things in a different light. Because remember, look, we know Rocky sucks, but what about in the comics? They did him justice.
That's comics. That is comics.
I understand, but you can still listen. If they could have put comic Rocky and Once and Always.
They
could have. I'm saying they could have. And I'm pretty sure if we had that one, we wouldn't complain as much about him. Or you know what? If they did a good job with him, like, you know what? This reunion, this special, did Rocky justice. He was putting in work, but they didn't write him that way. They could have made Rocky's character better there.
They could have. They didn't, because they probably didn't read too much of the comic material, because comic Rocky, as I dub him, he only gets as good as he is in recent issues. It took all these issues first to happen, and then like
the Matt stuff.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was not like, oh, as soon as he made the debut, he was fired. No, they had to build upon that, and even then, this was post Shattered Grid, like way after.
I think they knew, but they were just like, at that point, it's just like they're just like, well, let's play up to what we know about Rocky.
Exactly.
He's a doofus.
Right. So they did what they had to do, right? So basically, this kind of subtopic that we've kind of like formed, that could be its own video at some point in the future. I'm gonna have to write this down to like kind of come back to it, because I do have a scenario for like a potential Dino Thunder reunion, right? But like I said, like that could literally be its own video. So to answer the question, as far as like, would a space reunion be good or not? Would people like it? I feel like, the reception for it would be good, especially if you weigh space against all the other seasons. If we were to go one by one of every season, I think space at least is one of those higher end ones that people would actually care about, and that people would create enough buzz. Now, the buzz part, I don't think it would be as strong as obviously Mighty Morphin. I don't think anything is going to be as strong as Mighty Morphin, because it's Mighty Morphin, and the rest of the seasons are not. Even though, as true fans would understand that space directly relates back to Mighty Morphin, because it's all sequential. It all happens like one after another. And obviously, Adam shows up. So, I mean, that's your direct Mighty Morphin thing. But it's like the whole point of space was they were trying to save Zordon. Hello? So, like, I think it could work, especially if they almost treated this like a soft sequel to Once and Always, because as we know, Billy was trying to bring back Zordon and failed. And that's the whole point of space. So if like they kind of revisit this, or not even revisit it, but just to continue, off of that, because it's like, okay, they defeated Roborita. So is Billy just not gonna try to get Zordon again? I mean, he's probably gonna try something different, but like the difference now is that the Space Rangers could get involved, however way they decide to do that. Now, the one other thing I wanted to comment about like the potential of like this even happening is it would be very interesting, because, and I don't know who said this recently in a conversation that I was having about Power Rangers in space. I think it might have been Tech. It might have been in our group chat, but he was like, "Yo, like Mans does like the only like it's TJ and it's Cassie that look like the best right now. Like they still look like if they was to suit up right now, they'd be fine. But everyone else, I mean, Ash is probably all right too, but like Carlos and Andros, unfortunately, like they look way different now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but then again, I don't really think that would matter, but I'm sure that's, that's going to be of some sort of concern for other people, because like you know, everyone's gonna make jokes, be like, oh, like they're too big, like they're not.
They lost their way or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know, I'm sure that they could cover some of it up, or you know, costume design would save them, and you just have to write in, oh, like Andros has a mohawk now, I guess. Because isn't he doing some like fan film where he's
that's
like,
that's exactly what I brought up.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying. Andros already doing his own thing.
Yeah, so the other, the other thing that
it's Psycho Red in it.
that I was gonna acknowledge from what Isaac brought up is that like his fan project is obviously a fan project. It's nothing official. It's not like, you know, like it's cool that he's involved. And I matter of fact, now that we're, you know,
is too.
I didn't even know that. I only saw the first episode. Back when they like, you know, this is not new, right?
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like, oh, Andros is involved and he's directly involved with TJ's son. I'm like, oh, like that's kind of fire, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But again, it's a fan project. So I don't think if they were to, you know, ever bring up some sort of space special, I don't think they wouldn't even care about that. They're not gonna. You think Hasbro, if they were still involved, you think they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's make sure that we don't mess with this fan work right here. Like they're gonna, if anything, they'll be like, oh, y'all lucky we don't cease and desist your ass. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that really matters. But to answer the other part of this question, as far as like what other seasons, you know, we could potentially see. I mean, you guys already named a few, obviously, with Lightspeed, with Time Force, with Dino Thunder, even 2017. Like that was probably the surprise, because I like kind of, you know, forgot to even like bring them up into contention. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard thing to answer, just because the way I look at it is more or less, how are the majority of fans going to like how much are they gonna care or not? You know, like you can't take Wild Force, for example. You can't take like Mystic Force, for example, or Jungle Fury. You can't take any random ass season and be like, all right, we're doing a 10-year anniversary special for these guys, you know, and then expect it to do well. The reason why they did Mighty Morphin is because that's all they believe in, because that's all that sells and makes them money. All these other shows, all these other fans that are fucking crying over why I don't have a Lightning Collection figure for my favorite Ranger from whatever season, it's literally because Hasbro looks at the numbers and they're like, what show is this? What Ranger is this? They don't fucking know, because it's not Mighty Morphin. You know, like that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the brutal, honest truth. You know, like I guarantee you, look, 30th anniversary remastered figures, right? You think they're gonna do 30th anniversary figures for any of the ones I just named?
No.
No.
I can't wait for the Mystic Force line 30th anniversary.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yo,
facts.
My gosh, I can't wait.
Fucking that Udana Ultra HD version. Like, come on, like they're not going to do that. That's just not how it's gonna work. All right. Yeah. And that's not me trying to shit on anybody. That's just me being honest and brutally honest, because like that, like look at how they operate. So when it comes down to like, you think they're gonna go out of their way to make that shit? Like this is, again, like you brought it up, Japan, they have like 10-year anniversaries because it's a different like culture over there. You know, like Tokusatsu.
No one season is greater than the other. Like there's seasons that have fan bases, right? Like Gokaiger, right?
Oh, well,
like it's probably
you
like
named the best
that
one.
comes back all the time. But
Right.
like I only bring them back because I feel like that's the season that's made the most appearances, maybe after like Go Ranger or whatever.
They treated them as such. It was a 35th anniversary. They had all the powers. Like
exactly.
That's broken.
And,
like,
and that's why. But outside of that, it's like, you know, no season is treated as sovereign, basically. Whereas like here, Mighty Morphin is the brand. You know, but whether you like it or not, Mighty Morphin is the brand, and everything else is the son of that. You know, and you know everybody just like, you know, it's kind of irreversible now until this reboot happens, and who knows how the fuck that's gonna go.
Yeah, like the thing is, and the people gotta realize this, the only way they're gonna ever show more care and like give other seasons attention is if they establish those seasons as such and give them that proper like love, because guess what? The comics, they're low-key doing that shit already. Even though obviously it's Mighty Morphin all day. But what are they doing? They got Andros in there. The Omega Rangers. You know, obviously that's an extension of Mighty Morphin, but it's just like they're expanding on the lore that we never knew even existed, because they're writing it out. They're really like, they're thinking, like expanding. They have multiple writers, you know, who are all passionate fans, one, you know, to one degree or another. And this is the only comic that Boom has surpassed 100 issues. So they, you know, there's a lot of faith in that, but they're being very careful, because like I asked Ryan Parrott, one of my favorite writers for Power Rangers Free, right? Like, and he was on a stream, and I was in the chat, and he answered one of my questions, and this was years ago. And I asked him, like, yo, like how much more time do you think until we see the power transfer when they get, you know, Zeo? Because the way I'm thinking as like a fan watching this or reading it, right, and making the comparisons and the contrasting to like the original TV show, it's like, well, damn, like they already got Tommy as the White Ranger, they already got the Stone Canyon trio. Shit, like pretty soon shit's gonna hit the fan, and they're gonna need the Zero crystals, right? And he goes, oh no, he's like, trust me, there's so much more story to tell. I'm like, y'all got it. And yo, we're here years later, and he's right. He's so much right, to the point where he's not even writing no more.
We haven't even got to Ninjetti, yo.
Yo, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the crazy
That's what I'm saying.
They've been hinting at the Zeo crystals, like not even hinting. Like
it's
the
a part of the story.
Are part of the story.
Yeah.
But we haven't got to Ninjetti yet. We haven't got to Aquatar. We haven't gotten to the Alien Rangers.
Yeah.
You know, we still got a lot to cover.
Yeah, so
you know?
I think honestly, to answer the question, it has to be 2017, like Isaac said. Like I'm gonna piggyback off of what he said, because that is truthfully the best option. Because guess what? It has the fucking Mighty Morphin selling point attachment to it. You know, and obviously we're not gonna see it as that. Obviously, because we're seeing it as this was a really good movie that had a nice foundation and a base with a great cast and a story that was done in a rebooted fashion that played a very different, like it was different from the original. That's how the reboot is. You know what I'm saying? And because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because Power Rangers is based off that, that's like the best option. You know, because like the next best answers are gonna have to be anything like a Dino Thunder or a Space or anyone or any.
You know why?
Because they have Mighty Morphin characters in there.
Yes,
and that's
they have Mighty Morphin ties. Yeah.
Exactly. Anything with a Mighty Morphin tie is gonna have that slight chance. But
yeah,
that's
I
how
would
it
say
goes.
I think the only one that really SPD and Time Force are probably the only two that probably would have a chance outside of that, like legitimately, like that the ones that, like in terms of not having direct Mighty Morphin ties. But it's still a stretch, you know.
So think about it this way as well, and some things that you guys are not talking about. You know, and once and always you were able to get, you know, you were not able to get Jason, but that's okay because we have Rocky. Oh, we can't get Kim. Hey, listen, that's fine because we got Kat, right? The same could be said technically about a Turbo reunion. So instead of getting Carlos as a Green Ranger, put Adam in there. That's fine. If Cassie can't be a Pink Ranger, listen, I'm pretty sure Kat would. She did it once. She'll do it again.
Yep. Facts.
You know, TJ as the Red there. Justin is already grown. So it can work. A Turbo reunion can work.
That could work.
Yeah, but why?
I'm not, because it can work. That's
because
why.
it can.
Okay,
That's
it can
it.
work. Can it work? should it work?
Yeah.
The
story is fine because Justin is grown.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say that if I was gonna support a Turbo reunion at all, it would be because Nakia Bruce hasn't had a chance to come back in a very long time, but she's stayed a part of the fandom.
Yeah.
So for her sake, I would say sure, if she gets to be in it.
Oh, well, duh. I would love for her to be in there.
I'm pretty sure they'll pick Ashley, though. I'm pretty sure that'll be the go-to because I'm pretty sure.
I mean, like they both could be in there. Who said they have to leave one out, right? They could represent.
I mean, they put Zach and Adam in the same thing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can work out somehow.
You know what?
You don't need Tommy because you have TJ.
If the story was about like the Phantom Ranger or something,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
maybe that would be cool.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a better graphic novel than a special.
I'm just saying, like, it can work.
But I mean,
it can work out better, honestly, than your Dino Thunder pick, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, for a second, I forgot that the comics covered the origin of the Phantom Ranger, but there's still holes they could fill in because
it's crazy to me that you're even arguing this when you pick Dino Thunder, which will have a harder time working than a Turbo reunion.
If technically yes.
There's no technically yes. Let's say it's a yes. Every Ranger can be represented.
Turbo would work flawlessly.
Like logistically, actors wise, you're right. Yeah. Story wise, a Dino Thunder reunion would be way better.
Yes, you're right. But what's the point if we can't get the story that we actually want?
Right. Right.
Turbo, we can.
Like,
you're right.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Exactly.
That's that's what I'm saying. Like, we have an entire TJ right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man's like, listen, they could do a Space Turbo reunion for all I care.
Yeah.
Because they were both.
They could just do like that Zordon or like they could just lump up all the post Zordon era, or not even Zordon.
That's
post
what I'm
Zordon
saying.
Era. Like you could just lump up the Zeo Turbo Space era stuff and just like do something involving those teams that followed the OG team.
Call it Once in Zordon.
Justin loses powers. Remember, we saw him in space.
Yeah, Justin's still there.
So
you know, like
Justin's still there.
It would be kind of cool because like you could have like whatever's you could bring a version of Trey back. Ryan Steele Trey. You could have
Blake Foster been trying to come back.
Ain't nobody trying to work with those.
I don't want that's why I said Ryan Steele, not the Triforia. Maybe you could have a different Trey of Triforia, like or a new Gold Ranger inheritor, right? And you could have
bring Jason back as the Gold Ranger
to represent Turbo. And then you could have some space people and maybe like whoever falls in between. I don't know.
Looking back at it now, the right way to do a space reunion special is to do a Turbo one.
There it is. Boom. See? And there's the answer aside from 2017 because listen, I stick up for Turbo. I feel like I'm one of the only ones out there. You're
the only one.
There it is. See, boom. And I own that shit. I don't care. When I was a kid, I saw Justin as a kid. I was like, yo, kids can be Power Rangers. Oh, I agree. Let's go. Fuck out of here.
I was smarter than that as a kid.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Come on, son.
I felt the same way.
Come on,
Blue
son.
is my favorite color because of Justin.
Facts. Because
I was a kid. Like I related to that. Like I was like, oh, a kid is a Ranger. He's blue. I want to be blue.
Yo. My first car was a blue Jeep. Ask me what I named that motherfucking shit.
Mountain Cruiser.
No. Mountain Blaster.
Mountain Blaster. Yeah, sorry. I mixed up the names. It's Lightning Cruiser.
Man, where is it now?
Mountain Blaster.
Gone. Hit the button.
Yo, listen, but to be fair, you want to know why? It lasted way longer than it did. That shit had like 3 lives. And that shit got me through so many storms. It got me through mad shit. And even when it wasn't supposed to stay alive, it did. And it lasted all the way until now. I got White Tiger. That's beside the point.
So I'm kind of curious though, like the younger Power Rangers fans that like, because there are a lot of Power Rangers fans who kind of grew up on this like samurai
Oh,
wave.
yeah.
Like,
I was thinking the same thing.
because samurai was like a soft reboot of the franchise, right?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, like not reboot, but it was like
It's the Nickelodeon era.
Yeah, and but like there were a lot of kids who like Samurai was their first Power Rangers,
Yes.
and I'm curious, not because it's not even that I want to bring the Samurai cast back because I really don't care about them, but I'm curious about how younger fans who are older now, because it's been over 10 years. So
they're not like us. They're not like us at all. No, that's the answer. I know what you're trying to say.
They might not be like, but like, are they even passionate enough to want to see those characters? Probably not. I haven't heard any younger.
If Ninja Steel was my first season, I'll be with it.
Jaden come back. Nah, man.
You hear what he said?
Yes, I heard him.
Such a clown.
Ninja Steel was your first.
I'll be with it.
There's only one Ranger we really want to come back, and I get why. I'm with you there.
Listen. That season had a great story.
Oh yeah, great story. All right,
and a fantastic cast.
Yeah,
and one of the best episodes of all time.
That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the most okay episodes of all time.
Nah, he said that shit, not me.
You know he said. I ain't say that neither.
It's a great Tommy episode.
Mr. Dino Thunder. Mr. Nah, Turbo won't work.
All right,
Mr. Samurai head ass. I do agree with the Samurai because, like, I know my roommate's little brother. Samurai was like his first, like that was his. I'm not gonna say it was his first season, but that was the first one that he actually liked.
My youngest
brother. I'm a fan
too.
of Samurai. I'm a fan of Samurai. I know people don't like it. I actually enjoyed Samurai. Yeah. I'm one of those people that enjoyed it. And if they do a reunion for Samurai, I honestly wouldn't mind. I like the cast. Bulk and Skull showed up too.
At the end.
But still, I think it'll be.
It could work. Like,
I think it'll be fun. It was the start of a new era for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Soft reboot, like you said, the theme song and everything is basically the same thing.
The same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I'll be okay with that if we can't get a space, and if they ever announce a Samurai reunion, I won't even complain.
I mean, I would watch it. Duh.
I would definitely be looking forward to watching that one more than the space for the reasons I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But just the last thing, just to go off of what JD said, is that it's a very interesting thing you brought up though, because I was low-key thinking of it in my head, and then you came out with it, so that's very good on you. Like, the passion that fans in our demographic have compared to a fan that started with Samurai or started with fucking Operation Overdrive, because there are those. Like, you can tell because Isaac knows, I know, we in our chats, we've had people that have come up and be like, oh yeah, once freaking Operation Overdrive, fire. What? No. Like,
that's why I didn't need a reunion.
And
gotta save that somehow.
And listen, I can understand coming from a young person's perspective, and I say that, we're all young realistically at the end of the day, but like a hella young person, like they date themselves, when they say that shows like Samurai and Operation Overdrive are in like their top 5. What? That's see, when we hear that is insane. That's like, what are you doing? Have you never seen an actual season before? And the answer is no, because they haven't, right? But see, like they get educated enough from people like us. Some of them might go and try to watch the history of, like, all the golden era stuff, but they're not like us, because there's so much other shit that's better than Power Rangers. And like, they're not gonna, like, they did not have, like, so when they watched it, why? Because they were kids, and that's what they were watching. They wasn't watching it because like, oh, like, I wanna watch, like, they just so happened to just be in on that shit. And then whenever we hear about them talking about it, it's like, oh yeah, like, I remember, man, Samurai, and like, they're talking about like how we talk about Mighty Morphin. Like, dude, that's crazy.
It's like, it's almost the same as, let's just say these, for example, the Call of Duty players, right? Like, they grew up on Call of Duty, and then you would show them something like GoldenEye, for example. They're like, what is this? Like, why does this look like this? and to them it's outdated, and it doesn't catch their interest. They want graphics, they want more tuned up controls. That's what they look for, and not appreciate it for what it is. It's too hard when you don't start out with that.
It's super rare, and it's hard because my youngest brother, Lil Uchi, he's not so little no more, right? He's like fucking 16, right? And he grew up watching Samurai because I remember when I would go visit, that's what he had on TV. And I would watch, and I'd be like, let me show you something. I put on Shinkenger. I put on Gokaiger. He'd be like, whoa! Like, he was fucking freaking out. And he's like, why is this so much better? I'm like, because it is. And this is where it comes from.
It's the same thing, just better.
And that's literally what it was. But you know,
I mean, specifically like with Shinkenger, it's like the big, like those are the two that really like set the Power Ranger and Sentai fandom at odds, I think. Where it's like, you know, because Shinkenger
was better.
Like watching Shinkenger was really eye-opening. Because to Isaac's point, right? Because I can't even hate on people who say they like Samurai. Yeah. Because I think the reason why people like Samurai is the same reason why we like Shinkenger. Just Shinkenger does it way better.
Bro, we had Chris Matrix
but it's
on
like
here.
The story, but like that story backbone is good enough to where I can understand what you might be like attaching to, you know?
Yeah, like Samurai's okay. Like I didn't say it was the worst.
Yeah. I
didn't even say it was bad.
Yeah, it's not the worst. Yeah,
it's not, right? Like we had Chris Matrix on here. Shout out to Chris Matrix.
Yeah,
and
I know he's a big fan.
And he's a big fan, right? Matter of fact, he actually hit me up today, right? He's the reason why I was able to get over like my whole discrepancies with Samurai, because I watched Shinkenger and he understood where I was coming from. He's like, yo, he's like, I hear you, I understand you, and honestly, if that's how you watched it, then that's how you watched it, right? But he stood up for Jaden. You know, we're talking about Red Rangers, and he specifically showed us fights, and I was like, listen, y'all got that. Samurai has some decent moments. There's some things that I would have loved for them to do differently, but that's them being, you know, Neo Saban, whatever, how, you know.
Yeah, it's Neo Saban issues more so than everything else, because, you know, the character Jaden, it's like Rocky, right? The character might be better than how he was portrayed in the show.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
You know, because like Jaden, the character might be dope, but the way that the actor portrayed Jaden didn't work. Dude, for me, at least, from the clips that I'm remembering, at least.
Yeah, hands though.
He did have hands.
He did. Hands. Yeah.
But like,
I mean, remember, Chris Matrix also, he's like us, you know, he started out with Mighty Morphin and can appreciate Samurai.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you you could pick out certain things, like you could pick out moments out of like these newer shows, you know? Like but that's all they got is moments. There hasn't been one. I mean, Dino Fury and potentially Cosmic Fury is showing some promise, but I need to see how Cosmic Fury ends before I like, because Cosmic Fury is basically Dino Fury Part 2.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna pass my complete like, oh yeah, like I will tell people go and watch it. It's good, right? It can stand on its own 2 feet. I'm not gonna praise it. I'm not gonna be like it's the best freaking thing I've ever seen. Hell no. They don't have that right yet. You know, like they're working towards something, and I'll give them the credit for whatever credit they got going on, but that's where it goes. That's where it stops. So
right.
So that's everything on just the what if reunion potential future. That's a big heavy topic. So let us know what you guys think in the comments about space or whatever you think is deserving of any sort of reunion or special. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode of Power Rangers Academia. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, reminder, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts, any future topics or ideas that you want to hear from us, and make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. May the power protect you. Keep it locked, loaded right here on this channel. Stay safe, stay clean, and stay inside. We'll see y'all next time.